Hi again, and welcome back to PhoenixChat. This is part 2 of the episode we released a few days ago. I highly recommend you check out the part 1 to this episode if you haven't already, as it will give you all the context for what the hell we're talking about this episode. And if you don't listen to part 1, Juliet will come find you and drink all of your beer.
All of it.
So yeah, I think the first thing I want to talk about is just the encounter in general. Because this is different. This is very unique. And this is very complicated for me to, set up and run. I never want to do this again. My brain was whirring during that entire thing.
God.
But instead of just this normal fight where it's just here's the big boss that you need to defeat, it was a defense encounter. So the main way I designed this, in case anyone DMs want to steal my idea, is that I created one deadly enemy, Legion, for them to face off against. And at this level, most of the enemies have legendary actions, and I added just one new legendary action. That cost her all 3 legendary actions to spawn minions. The minions were fairly weak. They were an easy encounter worth of minions, so they were enough and varied enough that you guys couldn't just ignore them. But they were they weren't going to just immediately steamroll you guys. Yeah, and I think that was just the main part, and just telling you guys also very explicitly too. The main thing isn't to kill Legion here. The main thing is just really making sure you guys knew that you needed to defend the Boondock. So I guess heading into this, how did you feel about the design of this fight?
So, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I just knew that we were gonna have to fight off Legion, and I was getting nervous. I'm like, she kicked her ass last time, with Boondock and without Boondock. So I'm like, how's this gonna go down? Especially with Boondock gone. And, but I liked the plan that Boondock and Essen made up, and it actually worked. And I played a rogue how I'm supposed to play a rogue, you know?
Yeah, you guys spent a good we didn't really talk about it too much during it, but the plan was effectively just hiding, have Julia hide behind the walls if you need to, if you need healing and stuff like that. Run to Hops so she can heal you and just keep the damage up. One person in front of the gate at all times. Yeah, it ended up being a pretty intricate planning process, though. I think you guys spent 20-30 minutes, though, just talking in character, just trying to figure out and strategize how you wanted to do this. And it's one of those things where because D&D is a lot about planning those kinds of things that I just wanted to reward you guys for those kinds of plans. And ended up being tense enough, but at least it felt good for you guys that you guys came up with the plan and you guys could follow it and just and not have too many interruptions in that plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really did enjoy that, though. You guys really thought about how you wanted to do this, so I could really just play into your guys' hand. What I also really enjoyed was you did actually explain the last time that Legion attacked you guys, Boondock was also kind of missing from the party. And to be fair, Boondock was the one attacking the party, but without Boondock, you guys kind of fell apart very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And this was a nice kind of sort of redemption to that, I want to say, because you guys ended up having to kind of think about it and plan things out and make sure you guys didn't panic in the moment. And it was a good dichotomy from that first fight where you guys have planned things out. You guys know what you're doing. You guys have control over this extremely shitty situation.
Yes.
Next thing I wanted to talk about was I also designed a system too where it was kind of a minute-ish that you guys needed to defend. It was realistically, though, whenever Boondock defeated the River Guardian with his father is when Boondock would be able to come back. But right before it, the talking to Legion bit was to give you guys a little bit of extra free time effectively, where you guys didn't necessarily have to be fighting, and you guys could have got Boondock up a little bit earlier. yeah, so I guess like heading into that part where you guys like did you guys like think like you needed to stall Legion at that point, and like did you have a plan to stall them? Because like you
So
kind of didn't, and it kind of didn't really work.
So at first, I thought yes, I can stall her enough because Juliet's very aggravating when she really
Mhm.
wants to be, or when she doesn't want to be. She still is. So
Mhm.
I was like, if I just like play into her stupid little ha ha, I'm better than you, and Juliet just like feeds into that more and more, then we can just keep doing that until Boondock's up. So that was my plan this whole time, was to just feed into her little like quips and shit. And
Yeah.
Hops opened her mouth.
Well, yeah. I mean, to be fair, like that's just how Hops is gonna be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna like. Well, I guess like what were you kind of like? Because all I remember you saying was like "fuck you" a bunch of times.
So
Um.
I wanted to like make sure that she knew that we obviously still didn't like her, especially Juliet. Um, but I literally was just gonna be like, so what's your evil scheme? Like, what's your go-to here? Because we're not letting you
Mhm.
get in your boondock. Like I wanted her. You know how like villains tell you their plan, and
Yeah,
then we ultimately
the
foil her
masterful
plan.
monologue. Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
That's what I wanted you guys to trick Legion into, is to doing
that's
the
what I
monologue.
was trying to. I was sad.
Oh man. Yeah, unfortunately, I ended up being kind of all spaghetti because like Morgan was ready to just immediately pull the trigger. Yeah, you were just kind of like just saying "fuck you." Hops was saying too much information.
Yeah,
Essen
it was
was
a whole thing.
trying to ask a couple of questions, but it didn't quite work the way like he exactly wanted it to.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Essen was probably the closest in actually stalling her, but like it was one of those things like after that information, like would Legion have any sort of reason to not just like start
Yeah.
fighting there? I'm like, I guess not.
Yeah. No, that's totally
Oh
fair.
man.
I mean,
Hmm.
but like realistically, it's exactly what our fucking characters would do.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah, and some of those things are like, well, the second thing works. You guys can just fight against Legion until like you manage to defeat her.
mhm.
um, yeah, but next thing was oh yeah, um, so just so you guys knew, and this didn't end up happening, but I was thinking about kind of making it half a joke. If one of you guys actually did kind of like die for a little bit during the fight, I was really tempted to just like have whoever died just like show up with the same place that Boondock was, and just like just like have the joke of like, hey buddy.
What's up?
As Boondock just sometimes like standing there confused, like, what the fuck, guys?
I leave for 2 seconds and you already died? Yeah.
Oh
Could you
man.
fucking imagine?
Hmm. Oh god. Um. And speaking of the place that Boondock was, you guys kind of like said that it was like purgatory, and that's not like technically inaccurate. I kind of based it on like a couple of different like religions, like underworlds and stuff like that. But the most one that I had was the river itself was supposed to be the River Jordan,
Mhm.
and in Southern Baptist writings, I believe the River Jordan is kind of used to symbolize like it's the same thing as like the river Styx, where it's
Mhm.
like the holy river that you like travel to through when you're dying.
Mhm.
Um and so like yeah, that was technically the River Jordan as and the River Guardian, like I want to have some kind of obstacle though for sure for Boondock in the afterlife
Oh
though,
yeah.
so like Boondock's player wasn't just sitting there.
Just chilling,
um
vibing in hell. Like, what's up, guys?
mhm. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, no, I kept it intentionally vague. So it wasn't quite hell. It wasn't quite purgatory. It was just some other place right before the eternal like judgment place.
Mhm.
Um. Yeah. And next couple of questions is, oh yeah, why put the necklace in Boondock's mouth and why the armor melt to his body? Honestly, I just thought it would be interesting.
I mean, it
Um.
makes sense because especially in like Greek mythology, especially, you don't really take things back with you to
Yeah, exactly. It
the
was one of
living
those.
world. So
Yeah.
how
So
are like I'm so sorry. I keep
no,
cutting
you
you
go
off.
ahead.
when you're like in Greek mythology, I keep referring back to that because I know a lot about that. When
Hmm.
you're buried with like coins under your tongue or under your eyelids because you want to pay the ferryman in order to cross. And so, how the heck are you supposed to get all this money to pay the man if you don't have it like in your body? So that's why they thought if you put it under your tongue, you'll have it with you when you cross. So
Hmm.
keeping things in your mouth, I guess, is a fucking cheat code.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it just needed some kind of reasonable explanation though for like how they could possibly do this, because like it was technically speaking like Boondock's soul left their body, not like their actual physical body. So like if they teleport back with the soul and something in the mouth, like it was one of those things that kind of like it was a bit cheeky, but it worked. um, yeah. On top of that too, with the armor melding to Boondock's body, like I wanted to give so Boondock's player was asking for like a certain set of armor, which basically would like grant them resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, but would like have them give them a really low AC. Because they wanted to be like somewhat tankier in terms of like their health and their Hellwalker form. Um but not quite like absurdly tanky. And this is a good medium for how like the bard could be like the main tank of the party. Because honestly, it's something we kind of end up like struggling a little bit with because like you technically don't actually do have like a proper frontliner. And like
Right.
before that, like Boondock would just end up like passing out in every single fight. Um but you guys are starting to get there now with Boondock having the new armor and being able to frontline now. um,
Yeah. Juliet being
um,
tank when she's a fucking
God, yeah, yeah, no. I wanted to touch on then the Revivify and like why I gave you guys that because like to be honest, I was kind of a little bit scared about that fight because like this is probably the level where like shit pops off. Like there's some very scary things that can really hurt you, and like there was actually a spell called Harm on Legion's list where like I had her do it on Juliet, and you barely managed to make that save, but. If you failed a like a DC like 16 con save, which Juliet's like obnoxiously bad at, what basically would have happened is you would have taken 14 d6 damage, and your maximum health would have been reduced that by that much. So
fuck?
basically, with Juliet's very tiny hit pool, you basically would have been reduced down to 1 maximum HP, and that's honestly like the tension I wanted to create is that like if Juliet takes any hit that's more than 2 damage, she will instantly die.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Wow,
no,
that's a
it
big
was.
owl.
But you did. Unfortunately, you did manage to succeed, and so I didn't get to do the fun
Unfortunately.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we'll
Jeez,
see though. Legion will return in a future episode.
well, now I know that. I'm gonna like max out my con. Cries.
This cries in Zero Con. Yeah, so that's why I gave you guys the one. What I'm realizing though, like, now though, is that like one, the Revivify couldn't be used on Boondock in any way, shape, or form. Like, if you guys failed to protect Boondock, that unfortunately would have been it. And like, I actually even talked with Boondock's player, and like I said, like, yeah, no, like, if this is a legitimate thing where like they end up failing in this, like, is this the point where like Boondock gets like retired as a character? And so they're kind of like, I guess so. Like, if it's legitimate like out and stuff like that for it, and if it's legitimately like a good narrative reason for like why Boondock's out, then yes, I'm fine with Boondock being out.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Would everybody else be fine with Boondock being out? Because I
Yeah.
highly fucking doubt so. All of us
Mm-hmm.
fucking like doing some research into breaking in and taking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think the scary situation that I didn't anticipate and I hope it just like wouldn't happen is that like if two of you ended up dying at the same time, I don't know what I would have done because there's only like I said there was only one Revivify possible. So I guess like what if, I probably would have offered no guidance as like a DM there. So what would have you guys have done like as characters at that point if two people were dead?
So I'm gonna be 1,000% honest. It probably would have been Juliet. Like,
Mm.
So in my thought process, I would think Juliet wouldn't really care if she died, because like, what is there now? What is there for her to do? Because she was doing this for Boondock. She wanted to save Boondock, so I feel like it'd be an insult to bring her back and be like, "Oh, hey, we chose you over Boondock." She'd be fucking furious.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, I don't. We haven't really discussed what exactly happened to Kitsune if they die and not become like gods. Because once you hit like 1,000 years old, you can essentially become a god, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
no,
we
and
haven't
it's
really
a unique
discussed
thing.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
there's not a ton of kitsune that like that happens to. So I guess like yeah, no, that's probably an interesting space to discuss.
hmm But I think it's good that it probably would have been Juliet, and I feel like we probably all collectively would have chose Boondock because we were doing this for Boondock, and we didn't know that Boondock's dad was down there, so like we wouldn't have known
Yeah.
anyway. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so if that would have happened, I would have. I have a backup character already, and I probably would have just copy pasted some of Juliet's elements into him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
it. It's just it would be really hard for the party to adjust though, especially who
Mm-hmm.
he is.
Oh,
uh
absolutely.
and like they're all so close to Juliet. I know people don't want to fucking admit it. Boondock. But um we're all so close as a party now because we've been traveling together for like fucking a long time, and we've all
Mm-hmm.
like risked our lives for each other and like died for each other essentially. um
Yeah.
so oh my god, like I like Juliet being dead, Cass would be upset, everybody would be upset, and then hey
Mm-hmm.
guys, here's a new character, who the fuck are
Yeah.
you?
It would have been maybe an interesting space to explore, but would have put a really it would have made the campaign much darker.
But
um.
then alternatively, if Boondock died,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah, I think that
it's
would really set Juliet off, honestly. Like again, because
oh
also because
dude,
Juliet doesn't want to admit it, but like that would really just like fucking put her
that
in an
would
extremely dark spot.
I feel like she would go chaotic evil. Honestly, at that
Oh
point,
man.
like she would do absolutely anything and everything to kill Legion. Like now she has some options in order to defeat Legion, quote unquote. But if Boondock died in that, she would have straight up killed her. Like any way,
Yeah.
shape, or form, she would try. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think the campaign would have gone in a whole ass different direction if that happened, because I'm not sure who Boondock's player would have had as a backup, because there's like a lot of NPCs that we've encountered for with Boondock, so like Lucky or Titus or even Ma. Okay, if Ma was
Mm-hmm.
brought in, maybe something else would happen. But
Jesus
uh,
Christ.
no. I
Yeah.
mean, like Ma would be the mother figure and kind of like not only like comfort herself, but like with the others. You know what I mean? This is just like speculation if the shit happened, but it didn't.
Yeah. I think at the time, that was going to actually be, in our Luna Nights campaign, Boondock's player currently plays Syrinx. And like, yeah, at the time, like, he said like, yeah, I guess I would probably play that character, as my backup character. Um,
Ooh, that'd be really hard. That
mhm,
would be
yeah,
so hard. Bringing in
yeah,
another bard into the party after the
mhm,
bard that had just died.
yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
and to be fair, like, it's completely different flavor of Bard that it would be just so like wildly different. On top of that, too, like, I think it might have worked because like the character that they play is a mute Bard.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't like be able to actually like say anything. So it's just kind of like it would have been an interesting adjustment to try and like kind of keep this character in and stuff like that. I don't know though. It would have been very just a wildly different tone of the
To
campaign.
be honest, so I
Hmm.
feel like Essen and Morgan would totally be okay with Syrinx joining the party. Like, just open arms, like, yes, we need help. Yes, we can,
Yeah.
like, work together. I feel like Hops and Juliet would completely shut him down.
Oh
Like,
man. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, we don't accept you. You're not
Hmm.
Boondock. You're not gonna be Boondock. Like, this sounds so bad, but I'm trying
Hmm.
to think in their mind space. Like, they're just grieving over their one of their good friends. Like they've shared laughs together, they've died together, like everything. And all of a sudden, this dude who's just so happens also to be a bard fucking comes in. And what sucks is he can't even fucking defend himself, like, because he's mute. And I feel so bad. But I feel like Hops and Juliet would just completely be like, no, we don't like you. Whatever.
That honestly would have been interesting though to see like if like the new character could break through that icy thing, and that probably would have been the interesting space to play in. But again, I'm glad though that we didn't. You managed to not fuck up completely.
Man, these are ideas. This is me
Yeah.
convincing Shivam right now to not CBK the party or get rid of a character, because this shit's gonna happen and he's gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah, but it's good ideas though, so you're actually giving me more ideas and why I shouldn't know. Yeah, God. By the way, actually, one note that I was actually thinking of as you discussed it is that what happens to a kitsune if they die and they don't become a god. I think like post the Fae arc, what I would have actually had happen is that Inari Okami would have taken you and like made you one of the Fox helpers.
And
I think that probably would have, I think that would have been maybe a more like a softer blow, because like Juliet would have been gone from the party, but like she would have just been like a helpful fox that you guys could talk to and stuff like that.
Dude, could you fucking imagine like little Fox Juliet, what's up, fuckers? Just showing up.
Yeah, exactly. Where like she couldn't really fight, but like she could hang out with the party and stuff like that, and maybe like talk to Hops and comfort her. So like it would have been like it would have been like a blow lessened, I think.
Yeah.
And I think like that would have been a space that could actually be like played in without being like too dark.
And especially if I decided to choose that backup character, they could probably just summon her whenever too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm not gonna say because spoilerinos.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh yeah. Other preventative measures I had though, in case you guys did fuck up, is so Toadbert and Mira's lives were extremely on the line. I think, by the way, what would have happened if you had slashed Legion while Legion was frozen is that Toadbert would have leapt in front of the fireball, and Toadbert would have gone down.
Dude, do you know how bad I would have fucking felt? So goddamn bad. This poor man, who's already, his life work is ruined by me, would also just be died by my hand. That would be so fucking depressing.
Yeah. It would have been absolutely depressing, but like, it would have been an appropriate end for Toadbert, though, because with Toadbert's backstory, like, all he ever wanted was just to be, like, remembered for something, because he had such a short lifespan as a grung. And, like, this would cement him as the memory of, like, a hero, which, like, it would have been a very bittersweet moment.
Oh, yeah. Man, that would have been different. You know what's sad? The entire fight, I literally was not thinking about Mira or Toadbert. I was just like, motherfucker's about to get her ass whooped.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I feel bad now.
Good. Yeah, did you have any more questions about this sort of arc or anything like that, or?
I'm trying to think, like, who would actually go to hell and who would actually, like, not go to hell in our party? That's my question, because, like, so,
I will enact no judgment. I need you to give me each party member heaven or hell judgment call right now.
So, alright, Hop's totally heaven, because she hasn't done anything, like, intentionally bad. She has not thought, I am going to do this bad thing right here, right now. There's no way. Hops
also remember, no spoilers for anybody's backstories that have been revealed later.
No. Yep.
Yeah, so
I'm
go
just
ahead.
saying, like, in now, Hops hasn't done anything intentionally wrong, so she would go to heaven. Absolutely. Morgan has only tried to do good. Like, he has only tried to do the best for other people, so heaven 100%. Like, there's no way. Yeah. Here's where it gets tricky. Essen.
I don't think you knew much about Essen at that point, though.
Well, I still don't know much about Essen at this point anyway. So it's really hard for me to say yes or no. I want to say Essen would go to heaven because, like,
Mm-hmm.
based on what I know now, he hasn't done much for bad. Like, he's done bad
He has
things,
not
yes.
intentionally done
He has
anything
not
bad.
intentionally, free willingly, he has not
Mm-hmm.
done anything bad.
Yeah. All right, Boondock.
That's hard because he knows he's killed people, but it was in the name of justice. But was it really?
Yeah.
So that, I feel like, walks a real fine line.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say he would purposely make himself go to purgatory to be with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you
Oh
know what I
God,
mean?
yeah.
Like I feel like that's the only answer I can give because
Yeah, no,
that's what would happen.
no, that is absolutely okay. Now, Juliet.
So, oh my god. So Juliet has intentionally done bad things and good things. But it's really hard because she's done the bad things because of her past.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she couldn't get around things. Like, she just did things out of, like, you know how teenagers rebel and they don't really think about shit
Yeah.
in the heat of the moment. That's what she does. And does she feel remorse after? Yeah, most of the time. But sometimes she's kind of like, no, I fucking did what I had to. Like, she also walks a really fine line. But based on what Inari Okami has, like,
Mm-hmm.
looked upon her, I feel like she would just join her. Like, I don't think anything bad would happen
Yeah.
to her.
No,
Unless something
absolutely.
fucking changes and I don't fucking know what's gonna happen, but
All
yeah,
right.
that's my standpoint on where people go. You know who's going to hell though, 100% though?
Who?
Faith.
For the crime of dating Cass.
For the crime of dating Cass. How dare
you? Oh God.
No, you know who's going to hell? Me.
Who? You, Izzy, yes. Me too, honestly. All the shit I put you through. Oh God. Yeah, no, I think you're right about all of those, though, because, like, especially with Juliet, like, I don't think Juliet's ever done evil in her life. I think she's done bad things, but I don't think there's ever been, like, evil that she's done.
Yeah,
And, like,
I feel like she's just been on survival mode, and that she's had to do what she's had to do. Like, there's nothing around it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of my favorite quotes, and everyone in their like 20s, and like Juliet's not technically in her early 20s, but like spirit of it, everyone like around that age like is kind of a shithead, and if they're not, they're a sociopath.
Yep. Yep.
Oh man.
Juliet's a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest.
All right. Heading into the lead out here.
Yep.
All right. So. Special shout out to our patrons, Spicy Turntable, Mod Goth, and Nyquil Dreamer. You guys help us make more and better content. If you want your name featured in the shout outs at the end of an episode, feel free to check out our Patreon, link in the description. We also have our Keepers of Order Animatic, which is a D&D comedy series that we've been slowly churning out. We have the previews running of the first episode. All the sketches are pretty much done. If you want to peep that, check out the link in our description and subscribe to us. Izzy, you want to tell them about your, Izzy, you want to tell them about her Twitch?
You mean my Twitch? No, I'm kidding. So it's at Keeper of Kitsune on Twitch on Tuesdays, 2:30 CST, 3:30 EST. We play a Luna Nights campaign, and you can see Indigo fucking destroy everything, with his flirting techniques. Cough, cough.
Oh man.
Anyway, fun fact. Toadbird, who is similar to Hops because he's a grung, does actually collect quote unquote trash. His is more refined, and he has a collection of stamps as well as a giant jar full of shiny buttons. PhoenixChat! Yay!